If you are struggling to get food off your brain and you just can't stop binge eating, then you are going to want to hear what I've got to share today. There are actually 6 reasons why you might be continuing to binge eat, and I'm going to address all 6 today. So you are going to recognize that you do at least one of these 6 things. The 6 reasons why you might be continuing to binge eat are mental reasons, emotional reasons, physical reasons, social reasons, financial reasons, and time-based reasons. And you've probably never heard anything like what I've got to share today, so stay tuned. And the first thing I wanted to say is that it's not your fault. I know how hard binge eating is because I have spent most of my adult life and also when I was a kid binge eating. I know how difficult it is. I know how much you don't want to do it because believe me, I didn't want to do it. I wanted to stay slim. I wanted to lose weight when I gained weight. And the last thing I wanted to do and the last thing I planned to do was binge eating, and it just seemed to happen automatically. And this is what I wanted to say to you is don't beat yourself up that you are binge eating because it actually does happen automatically. It's not your fault. And this is what I'm going to share with you today is why these things happen automatically and what we can do to prevent your binge eating happening automatically. So I think the best reason to start with is the mental reasons why you're binge eating. And you've actually got 2 parts of your brain. I call them the 2 brains. We've got the automatic brain and we've got the rational brain. And what I said about you binge eating automatically, you can't help it. This is because your automatic brain is automatically leading you to eat that food. Our bodies haven't really evolved very much since ancient times. And in ancient times, what would happen is food would be scarce. You would have to go and look for it. You'd have to walk around, search for it, hunt for it, pick for it, dig for it. And unless you get enough food, you die. Your body is designed to keep you alive first and foremost. So when you need to eat more food, your body is going to send you hunger signals. This is completely natural and normal. And when you find food, your body gets a taste for it and it thinks, wow, brilliant. This person has found food. They've worked really hard. They've expended lots of energy. They've found the food. They've hunted for the food and now they've got the food. We need to make sure that we conserve as much of this energy from food as we possibly can to store the fat on the body so that the fat will give you energy and keep you going and give you enough energy to go and look for more food. So it wants you to overeat. Your brain is designed to get you to overeat. It's normal to overeat. There is a small percentage of people on this planet, probably known as the naturally skinny people, who never automatically want to overeat. But this is not the majority of the people. The majority of the people, when they get an abundance of food, their brains will tell them to overeat. They can't help it. I'm one of those people. I never forget to eat. I love my food. I could always eat more. So you might be thinking, well, if this happens automatically, then what chance have I got? What chance have I got to overcome this automatic brain, this automatic reaction in my body that drives me to overeat? And I want to tell you that there is a way to overcome it. The way to overcome it is to use the other part of your brain called the rational brain. The rational brain is what you use when you're thinking rationally. When you're calm, when you're not hungry, you use it to plan things. You plan how much weight you want to lose. You plan what your food is going to be. You plan how you're going to stick to your diet and your calorie budget so that you can lose the weight. This is the rational brain in gear. But the problem is when you get too hungry or when you're surrounded by too much delicious food, your rational brain gets silenced by your automatic brain. You can't think rationally because your automatic brain takes over. And there are several ways that you can help your rational brain to overcome your automatic brain and win and not allow your automatic brain to force you to continue to eat. The first way is to recognize the signals that the automatic brain is sending you and realize that you do actually have a choice, that your rational brain can be more powerful if you don't listen to your automatic brain. So the first most important thing to do is when you start getting food cravings that you feel like you can't control, is to sit down for a minute and write down or type out on your phone all of the thoughts that you are thinking. This will bring you back to your rational brain, and then you can rationalize that these thoughts are not coming from your rational brain and you don't want to think them. They're coming from your automatic brain, and you can tell your automatic brain to shut up using your rational brain. But you can't do that unless you are aware of your two brains and the power that they have. If you think that your thoughts have to lead to action, then you will always listen to your automatic brain telling you you're hungry, you can't do this, you're no good at dieting, start again on Monday. All those thoughts that your automatic brain tells you need to be silenced by the rational brain. The rational brain just needs to say, shut up, these are lies, I am stronger than this, I can do it. The other thing that you can do is try and quieten down the automatic brain so it doesn't kick in so much, so hard, and so loudly. And this is what the rest of this video is going to be all about. So let's move on to reason number 2 that you are binge eating, and that is for emotional reasons. A lot of people binge eat because they are trying to block out their emotions. They are trying to dull their emotions. If you start thinking bad thoughts about yourself, like, I'm fat, I'm really stressed, everybody hates me, that kind of thing, then you might get led to block out those automatic thoughts. And everybody has a different way to block out these thoughts. Some people are workaholics, some people are alcoholics. There are lots of different substances and ways that people can use to block out their negative thoughts. Some are healthier than others. Food can be done in excess, and food is a very common way that a lot of people use to block out their emotions because it does dull the senses. TV is another way. So when you combine TV with overeating, then you've got two ways to block out those emotions and those negative thoughts from your brain. What you're doing, that you are overeating to block everything out, and I used to do this as well. The best thing you can do is learn to manage your emotions. The best way to learn to manage your emotions is to accept that you are going to have negative emotions and be completely okay with them. Don't try and block them out. Let them be there. Let them be okay. So you think a negative thought, like, somebody sent me a horrible text message, I'm really upset about that. And society tells you that you just need to be strong and stop crying and put your big girl panties on and get on with it and just carry on regardless. And lots of people do this by just blocking everything out and burying those emotions. And this is not healthy, and it's not going to lead to stopping overeating and stopping binge eating, because I've been there myself. And when I learned that it was okay to feel a negative emotions, I was able to stop binge eating because I didn't need to block them out anymore, and I actually stopped watching less TV. And what I did instead was, if I had had an upsetting day, something that I felt was going to reduce me to tears, somebody had been horrible to me, there was some kind of stress, I just allowed myself to just sit and listen to my thoughts and just accept my emotions. I allowed myself to be upset. I'm upset. I'm okay with that. These thoughts are there, and I'm okay that these thoughts are there. I'm not going to try and block them out. Another thing I do that really helps is I write a diary every single night about my day. Most of the time it's just what happened, but if there's something that's really upsetting me, I write it down. I write down my feelings, and it's a good way to get my feelings out. I've validated my own feelings. Sometimes I don't always have people to talk to, and sometimes it's not helpful to talk to people because you don't get the response that you need. Sometimes you just need to be okay with just letting things be there. I'm upset, and it's here. It's in black and white. It's in my journal. I'm just upset, okay? And then it's released. It's okay. It's out of your body. It's there on paper, and you can then move on. You don't need to block it out. So let's move on to another reason why people are overeating. And this is physical reasons or physiological reasons. And this is also something that you can't help in the moment, but you can prevent it happening at all if you follow what I'm going to say now. A lot of people overeat because they've got cravings and they just can't help themselves. They've got this undeniable craving, or they've got this undeniable hunger that just has to be satisfied. You just have to eat, and you know you've had too many calories already that day, and you're still starving and you can't help it. You have to eat. And some of this is legitimate hunger, and some of this is food cravings that are not actually hungry, but that you just can't get a particular food out of your brain, and nothing will satisfy you until you have that chocolate or until you have those French fries or whatever it is. And the reason why we've got these food cravings or this uncontrollable hunger is because we're not eating the right nutrients. When you don't eat enough nutrients, the body will send you hunger signals and craving signals for you to eat more food because it thinks that the only food that will be out there in nature will be healthy, nutritious food. And if you simply eat more of it, you will get more of these nutrients. In nature, almost everything contains protein, and protein is one of the biggest nutrient sources that the body looks for because it's so important for your health. And there's a theory called protein leverage theory. And this theory is that you need a certain amount of protein every day. And this is a lot higher than the RDA would have you believe. And your body will continue to give you hunger signals until you've eaten a certain amount of protein each day, which for the average adult will be at least 100 grams of protein. And until you get that, your body will keep telling you that you're hungry all the way through the day and you need to keep eating. So the most important thing you need to do is make sure at the start of the day that you have protein-rich breakfasts, protein-rich snacks, and protein-rich lunches. And then this will stop you from binge eating in the evening. Along with protein, it's really important to get other types of nutrients that you get mainly from fruit and veg. This is why I have a personal rule for myself and for my clients. Every single snack and meal that you eat must contain protein, lean protein sources, and either a fruit or a vegetable. And you might think, well, I'm going to start overeating if I add fruit to my ice cream, but I'm telling you, you will binge less if you do this. When I have put this to the test myself and with my clients, I binge much less. If I have a bowl of ice cream and also throw in a big handful of strawberries with that ice cream, I won't be tempted to go and get another bowl of ice cream. But if I just eat the ice cream alone without the strawberries, then my body is sending me hunger signals that I need nutrients, I need fiber. It wasn't satisfied with the ice cream. It just slipped down my throat. All it is sugar. There's no nutrients in there, maybe a bit of calcium, and that's it. But the body needs more than this, so you have to give it more. If you eat more of the healthy stuff with the junk food, then you will notice you will eat less of the junk food and you can gradually phase it out that way. Here's another reason why people overeat and binge. It is for social reasons, and you might not have heard this before. Did you know that the French are some of the slimmest people in the world, despite eating very calorie-rich food and very fat-laden food, very rich food? And one of the reasons why they manage to stay slim is that they are very social with their eating. We are supposed to be with other people. When we just eat in front of the TV, we are mindlessly eating, we're not looking at our food, we're blocking things out because we're looking at the TV. So you're likely to overeat. But when you eat with other people, eating is an experience and you're much more likely to eat in a healthy way. The first thing that people tend to do together when they're being social is they tend to cook with each other. When everybody cooks with each other, it means that your food tends to be healthier because you've made it from scratch. More love and care has gone into that food. And I don't know about you, but when I've been in the kitchen for quite a while preparing food for a large number of people, when I sit down to eat, I'm just not as hungry as I thought I was going to be. I think it's because I've been absorbing the process and noticing what things have gone into this food and maybe having a little taste as I go along. And it just makes me not as hungry. Another thing that I have observed about myself is that I consciously started a long time ago to chew my food more often before I swallowed it, which makes me slow down my eating. So I am a very slow eater. And when I'm with other people, I tend to be chatting as I'm eating. And because I'm already a slow eater, and then I'm chatting on top of that, and I do like to chat, I tend to eat less food when I'm in with other people because it takes me longer to finish my meal. I'm one of those annoying people that everybody's always waiting for in a restaurant, and the waitresses are always waiting for me. And I don't mind because I know the slower I eat, the less I'm going to eat and the more I'm going to enjoy my food because I get to eat for longer. If you finish off your food in record amounts of time, your brain hasn't even processed that you've eaten and you think, well, I need to eat something else now because I love eating and I just need to eat more food. But if you chew your food with more bites, you will get to enjoy your food for longer. And also if you eat more fiber-rich food like meats and vegetables and fruit, then this will lead to more chewing, and it will also slow you down. Also, some people get embarrassed about overeating in front of other people, so this also might really help you. And I get it, we're all busy, we don't all have time to sit down with other people 3 meals a day. But what you could do is you could have one big meal a day, say for dinner time, because that's quite normal in our culture. Sit down at dinner time with other people and really savor your food and enjoy it and make that a higher calorie meal. And then for breakfast and lunch, you could have much faster, lower calorie meals that you could just eat on your own more quickly. Another thing that I find good about socializing when I'm eating is that I'm so focused on the conversation that I'm not so entertained by what's on my plate. Because a lot of us eat for entertainment. We eat because we are bored. We eat because we are lonely. We don't have enough connection with people. So we sit and watch TV. We watch our favorite characters on the TV because it helps us feel social and it stops us feeling lonely. But what we actually need to do is be around other people. So even if you live alone, try and invite other people around for dinner, or maybe try and get some agreement with other people that you'll go around to them and they'll go around to you and you'll all eat together. And when you're eating with other people, what I suggest you do is portion out your food, decide exactly what you want to eat, put it on your plate, finish it, and then don't go back for seconds. Then you won't have any decisions to make. Oh, should I have this and should I have that? And I find that exhausting when I'm trying to chat with other people. I don't want to be thinking, oh, shall I have a bit of this and a bit of that? And because I can't concentrate, I can't multitask on two things like that. So I just want to spend some time, look what's there, think I'll have a bit of this, a bit of that. Or if I'm purposefully trying to lose weight, I would even portion it out and decide exactly what I wanted and weigh it out and decide in advance what I was going to eat. And I would learn how many calories are in things and I would weigh it out and I would put what I wanted to eat on my plate. And there is a problem with being sociable when you're trying to lose weight in that you can feel deprived because other people are eating more food than you are, or they're eating the types of foods that you want to eat. So here's 2 ways that I suggest you can overcome this. The first way is to make sure that you don't deprive yourself. If there's something that you really want to eat, have a little bit of it. Have a small amount. Don't deprive yourself. Don't overeat on it. Don't eat too much, but still have some of it because then your brain will be satisfied that you're not in a state of deprivation. Another thing that I like to do is I always like to plan a late snack for the end of the day. Something really tasty that I enjoy eating. Obviously, it's got fruit and it's got protein in it, but it's something that I really enjoy eating. These are my flavored yogurt bowls, and I can make these chocolatey, taste like dessert. They're really delicious. So I really look forward to eating them. And because I have them quite late in the evening, I know that I've always got something to look forward to, and I don't need to worry that I'm deprived and that I'm not going to have something to eat for the rest of the day because that's my treat that's coming. I can think it's okay. This person's eating chocolate over here, but it's okay because I've got my treat later. I've still got mine to look forward to. The next reason why people tend to overeat and binge eat is for financial reasons. And you might be thinking, why on earth would I eat more food for financial reasons? Most people are trying to save money. And when people are trying to save money, they don't like to waste things. So the thing that I hear out of people's mouths most often than not is, I hate wasting food. So what they do to avoid wasting food is that they eat the food because they can't stand throwing it in the bin. And I totally get this, and it makes perfect sense when you're thinking about the planet and all the problems with the planet, and we all want to be more eco-friendly and everything like that. But let me put it this way. There are 2 types of bins in your house. One is your food waste bin. Hopefully you've got a food waste bin and this can be turned into a compost heap. My food waste bin gets collected and it gets turned into compost. So I don't need to feel bad about that. It's getting recycled. Yes, it was a waste of money, but it's still going to benefit the planet. The second type of bin is the one you want to avoid using at all costs, and that is the body bin. Don't use your body bin. Your body is not a bin. You don't put things into your body to keep them out of your food bin, because guess what happens when you fill up your body bin? Of course, you gain weight, you don't like the way you look, and also it affects your health. You get health problems. It makes you less useful, less productive, more depressed, and it shortens your life. So why on earth would you want to use your body bin to save money and save the planet? Get yourself a food bin, throw the food in there, and obviously try your best not to waste food and not to waste money in the first place. So what I suggest you do is get organized, get planned, plan all your meals for the week, not just yours, but for the rest of your family or people that you provide food for. Then cook for everybody, portion everything out, put it onto individual plates. Tell the people, if you don't finish what's on your plate, it's going to go into the food bin, or you can save it for later and it'll be in a box in the fridge with your name on it. It is not yours. It does not belong to you. It belongs to them. It's their food. It's up to them to eat their leftovers at a later date. If they don't have it, you'll have to throw it in the food bin. That's their choice. It's their waste, it's not yours. You've portioned your food out properly, you ate everything in your portion, and everything else is not your responsibility. Don't overcook. Don't cook a massive pot of rice. Don't cook a massive pot of pasta or a big batch of potatoes. Plan it out. What's everybody going to have? Cook only what is going to be eaten. Yes, you can make batches of food. You can make 4 portions. Portion out the 4 portions. Eat one of the portions today and one tomorrow and one the next day and so on. Don't cook food if you don't know who is eating it on which date. And plan your meals based on the packet sizes that you buy. When I buy 1 bag of frozen broccoli, I divide it up into 5. The bag is 1 kilogram, 1,000 grams. I divide that by 5. I eat 200 grams per day in a soup. I make a batch of soup and I know I'm going to have 5 portions, all portioned out. No waste, no excess. When people tell me I can just have the leftovers, I say, there's no leftovers in my house. I don't do leftovers. The 6th reason why you might be overeating is time-based reasons. The biggest problem that I see when people are overeating or binge eating is that they don't have particular time slots for eating. When you're being productive, you might do something called time blocking, where you think between 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, this is when I'm working on this project. Then I'm going to stop for a little break for half an hour. Then I'm going to block the rest of my day into this project. Then I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to go here, I'm going to drop my kids off there. And these are all blocks of time. And I like to do something called food blocking. Food is very, very important. It needs to be scheduled into your calendar. Don't forget about it. When people become mums, what tends to happen is they time block their time and think, right, I'll run the kids here, then I'll come back, then I'll throw the washing on, then I'll do this, blah, blah, blah. And they don't actually stop down for a meal. And what happens is when they don't stop and sit down for a meal, is that the automatic brain kicks in and it starts telling you you're starving, you need to eat, you've got no nutrients, you've got no protein, eat, eat, eat. And what do? You see your kids' leftovers on their plate and you think, oh, I can't waste that food, must just finish off the kids' leftovers. So you don't sit down, you just shovel down the kids' leftovers into your mouth. And then you think, oh, I've got to taste the sweet things now. What's in the cupboard? Chocolate. Gobble down the chocolate while you're loading up the dishwasher. People are snacking all day long and they're not sitting down for a proper meal. Food blocking is absolutely essential. When are you going to prioritize your meals? And I'm not saying that you've got all the time in the world. You can sit down for a leisurely lunch and take 2 hours. No, of course you don't have time to do this. But what you can do is you can block out a period of time where you are going to eat a specific type of food. So for example, breakfast. It's always rushed. Yes, it is, of course. If you've got kids, you know how hectic life can be and you probably don't even have time to sit down and have breakfast. And this is okay, but you still have to block out the time that you're going to eat breakfast and what you're going to have. And I suggest making them in advance. So for example, making a head of smoothie, putting it in the fridge, making some overnight oats or a chia pudding and putting it in the fridge. And then what I tend to do is I get the thing out of the fridge and I'm drinking it as I am clearing up my kids' stuff. I know I'm drinking my breakfast, I'm eating my chia pudding as I'm doing stuff in the kitchen because I don't have time to sit down. I'm like every other mum out there, I'm busy. So this is what I do. And I know that that was my breakfast. I had portioned it out and once it's finished, it is gone. There is no more breakfast because that was my planned breakfast. I set a plan by my rational brain. I ate the breakfast. My automatic brain didn't kick in because I didn't have any decisions to make about what am I going to eat, or I've got cravings now. All I've eaten is 2 squares of chocolate and now I want more because I've given myself that protein. I've given myself that fruit and my automatic brain isn't kicking in and it isn't giving me cravings to eat anything else. Have a look at your own snacking habits. When do you tend to binge eat? Are you snacking all the way through the day? Or do you tend to not eat very much during the day because you're so busy? And then when you sit down in the evening in front of the TV, that's when the binging starts. So look at your own habits and see how you can eat protein and nutrients all the way through the day so you can keep your body nourished. But if you do tend to sit down in the evening in front of the TV, and this is when you're doing your overeating, despite having eaten enough protein and veg throughout the day, then here's something I would like to share with you. Try and keep yourself busier. Try and watch less TV. Try and do something with your hands that means that you can't use your hands to eat food. For example, while you're watching TV, you could start doing knitting, crocheting, woodwork, anything really, stretching exercises. I've got this hand strengthener machine that strengthens your fingers. Don't sit there with your hands with nothing to do. Make your hands busy while you're watching TV, and then you won't be able to eat the food because you'll be too busy. What I tend to do is I don't watch a lot of TV because I'm busy milling around most of the evening. But what I do tend to do at the end of the night is I'll sit down for either 30 or 60 minutes and I'll watch TV to wind down and do a few things. So the first thing I do is I have my delicious snack. I really enjoy it. And I'll have either a light hot chocolate or a decaf coffee or a sleepy tea or something like that. So I've got something that's going to take a bit longer and give me a bit more taste. If it was really hot, I might have a diet soda. And then once I've finished that, I think, right, that is finished now. That's the end of my eating for the day. And now I'm going to do things with my hands while I watch the rest of the TV. So what I do then is I will write my diary for the day. I'll keep one eye on the TV. When there's a pause, I'll write my diary, what I've been doing, and then listen again. When there's another pause, I write my diary again. Another thing I do is I have a big flossing routine. I've had a lot of problems with my teeth in the past and I don't want any more. And the thing that stops me having teeth problems is flossing. So I'll sit there and I'll do 3 types of flossing, and then I do another type of flossing in the bathroom. So I'll do that. Or sometimes I might be folding clothes, but I'll find something to do with my hands that means I'm not sitting there. Because when I sit there, I get fidgety. I need to do something. I need to be chewing. Sometimes I chew chewing gum to give myself that sensation of chewing something, and I stop myself from being bored and stop myself from overeating. Have you ever done any of these 6 things to stop yourself from overeating? Were you aware of your 2 brains? Have you noticed that you block things out by eating? Do you think you've got cravings for particular types of nutrients because you're not having enough protein, fruit and veg? Are you craving social interaction? And this is maybe why you're watching TV so much. Are you using your body bin rather than using your food bin in your kitchen? And are you giving yourself time slot and planned meals to eat and deciding exactly when you're going to be eating? Let me know in the comments. If you want my complete program that helps you to become the weight loss expert yourself, so you never need to rely on anyone else for how to lose weight, and you can eat all the food that you love, I've got a 50% sale on at the moment. My system is called the 6-week shred. And the way in which we do the 6-week shred is we shred for 6 weeks. Then we have a break, a much needed mental and physical break from dieting, from being in a calorie deficit. This break teaches you how to stay at maintenance, which is critical to keep the weight loss off. Then when you've had that break, you go back, you do another 6 weeks of shredding. You eat food that you love. You eat food that satisfies you, that fills you up. There's a very easy and simple way to do this. And my system is completely scientific. If you stick to it, it is guaranteed to get the weight off. So click the link in the description and get your copy now. And now it's time for you to go and get shredded.